So this is the Forsage presentation. I'm sure whoever's introduced you has told you a little bit about it. I've only been in this 2 weeks, so I'm just going to try my best to give you a better understanding of what Forsage is. Basically, it's a global community crowdfunding program that uses smart contracts on the Ethereum network. Bit of a mouthful. Let me explain what that means. Let's start with crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, I think we all know, is a way of collecting money, whether it's for events, whether it's for some sort of charity or some sort of social enterprise. It's a way of accumulating money through lots and lots of people. However, this sort of thing has been around for centuries, I would believe, especially in other cultures, especially in places like India, Africa, the subcontinent. People have always crowdfunded in communities and got money together. In fact, they still do it in this country. I know that quite a few people still do it where they have maybe 50 members and they all put a certain amount in every week. And then every 50 weeks you get your turn. So it's a bit like getting a lump sum without having to pay any, I suppose it's like an interest-free loan in a sense. Well, what if you could do that globally and you wouldn't have to wait 50 weeks and you can do it with any amount. So it's a lot quicker. And if you could do it with something called Ethereum. Ethereum is a cryptocurrency. I'm sure you'll have heard of it. It's the second, it's the number 2 cryptocurrency. And the difference with Ethereum is it's something called, it's a smart contract. So it's not just a cryptocurrency, it's a token. What are smart contracts? Smart contracts are basically executable programs. So it's a little bit cleverer than just a cryptocurrency. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were sending money to an individual. You would would send that money to that person, providing the service, whatever they were rendering, was satisfactory. So you would then release that money. But what if you didn't know who that individual was? Or what if you didn't trust that person? Well, this is where a smart contract comes in. It kind of makes sure that the function or the service that service provider performs is satisfactory before it's released. And then you've also got things like, let's say, complex purchases like buying a house or buying a car, where somebody might have lots of different parties involved. Might have the garage and the finance company, or the house and the agent and the conveyancing solicitor. Well, a smart contract could do all that without the need for all these other parties. In other words, you could actually sell your house on the blockchain within the same day and be moving out using the smart contract. And this is where the future lies. Well, with Ethereum, because of that reason, Ethereum's price is going up rapidly. A couple of months ago, just before the lockdown, $106. Today, it stands around $230. And part of the reason for that, I believe, is because of this Forsage crowdfunding website. The growth is absolutely phenomenal. I took these details just about 3-4 days ago. So I'm going to show you the actual growth now, but this was only about 4 days ago. 289,000 people had joined, 8,800 in the last 24 hours, and 204,000 of them being paid out. Now, in most business opportunities, you never get that sort of figure. You get very small figures. And in this particular instance, in the last 4 months since Forsage has been going, 47 million has been paid out. So those figures are staggering. And just to give you a basic example of what the Forsage website looks like, it's split into two. You have an X3 plan and you have an X4 plan, and the idea is that you can come in at different slots or different stages, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail. So the 2 plans that are available are the X3 plan, where you can come in and join and introduce 3 people. You don't have to, but if you do, you earn more money. And it goes all the way up to 12 stages. Now, each stage costs more as you progress, but you can start at one stage. The other plan is the X4 plan, beg your pardon. Again, you can come in at one stage, but this time you have 2 people underneath you and they have 2 each. Now, I won't go into the details of why these differ, because that's more of a training video. I just want to give you an understanding of how the money is earned in these programs. But again, same thing in the X4 plan. You also can have 12 stages, and you earn from both. That's the idea. The difference is that in the X3 plan, you earn very quickly by introducing people. In the X4 plan, it's a slightly slower growth, but you earn from people that you may not have introduced. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. So it's a passive thing. So let's look at the two plans, and let's start with the basic 6 slots, because that's what a lot of people go for. If you were to start with just one slot, it would cost you 0.05 for both of them. The money is split in two, so you're paying $12, roughly $6 for each. And then after that, each stage doubles in value. So as you progress, you're paying double for that. And of course, it carries on going up all the way the 12 stages. But like I said, most people come in with 6 or sometimes less. And if you were to come in with all 6, then you would be paying all those amounts together, which comes to a total of 3.15 Ethereum, which roughly equates to around $800. So I'm going to use this example for now, but people do come in for less. Some people come in for more. But this is a fairly reasonable figure to work with. So let's say you introduce one person, Bob, and he joined just like you. He got the 6 stages, 6 slots. He paid the 3.15 Ethereum. Half of it would go into the X3 plan, half of it would go into the X4 plan. And he would sit in the first position under you in each one of the slots, because he's done the same as you. He's bought the 6 stages, so he's under you in all 6 of them. That means you would earn that income. That 1.575 Ethereum is yours, and it goes directly into your wallet. It doesn't go to any company. It gets paid from his wallet directly into yours, and it's instant. In the X4 plan, he would sit here in the first position, but this money is paid to your sponsor, the person above you, and it's as simple as that. So Bob's $800 is divided, thus $400 to you and $400 to your sponsor. And it's the same thing with the next person, Kim. Let's say she comes in at the same level, 3.15 Ethereum. Well, she'll sit in the next position. Got to remember the difference. Position in under you in the X3 plan, and in the second position on the X4 plan. And again, the first income X3 is yours, and the X4, so you get the 400, and the X4 income goes to your sponsor, so he gets 400. So now you've made your money back. Very simple. And then, of course, Sam, if he comes in, then it's the same thing. He goes in the third position, but this time, this money goes to your sponsor. So it's slightly different. It's the other way around. And in the X4 plan, he sits at the bottom on the first position. So this money comes to you. And there's a reason for this, but I'm not going to go into that at this stage because that's more to do with trading. So again, you earn 400 and 400. So now your sponsor's made $1,200 and you've made $1,200. And it's as simple as that. But what if you were to own both positions? In other words, you were also your own sponsor. That would mean that you would earn both lots of income. So you're earning 100% from Bob, Kim, and Sam. I want to go into this because this is how we're building this. This is far, far more lucrative and far easier to do. So imagine you've come in with both 2 positions, so you're paying twice for the positions. But in fact, it actually works out even better if you have 4 of them. And you do the same thing all the way through. Now, if you're buying 4, you might want to pay less for each one. So let's say you came in with 4 slots or 4 stages. Well, for each one, so it's 0.375 for the X3 and 0.375 for the X4. So that comes to about, well, that comes to 0.375, beg your pardon. That comes to 0.75 in total. You pay around 0.8 because you do have a few charges in there. Or if you come with the 6 stages, 6 slots, then you're looking at 1.575, which we explained, which is 3.15. And you do that for each position. So let's see how that would work. Well, remember, if you're coming in, then half the money goes to your sponsor, half of it goes to the upline. But by the same token, each position under you, which is also yours, half of that comes to you now. So you're getting back 1.575 times 3, which is 4.725. And then the other half goes to your sponsor. So even though you're paying 3.15 for all 4, you're only paying half of it for the bottom 3. Now, what if we were to invite Bob at this stage in this particular manner? So now Bob has also got 4 positions. And again, let's say he's doing the same thing. He's paying 3.15. Well, remember, for his top position, half of that will go up to the first person, which is your second position, and then half of that will go up the next level, which again is you. So you're actually getting 100% of Bob's income, sorry, Bob's commissions, Bob's payments from his first position. And similarly, on his bottom positions, he's going to get half of it, and then the other half comes up to you on all three of them. So you've earned three lots of commissions from his second level. If we add those up, you've earned 3.15 Ethereum from his first position, so that's 100% you've got, and then you've got 50% on his other three. And if you were to add all those up, that comes to a total of 7.875 Ethereum, which is 62.5%. Okay, that's what you've had back. But remember, that's what you paid out when you joined. So that money went up to your sponsor and their sponsor, and now you're getting it back from just one person. You've got your money back, 100% money back. And it's as simple as that. Now, let's take it one stage further. What if you did that with other people? So you've introduced Bob on your first leg, on your second position, and you introduced two more, and then you did the same on the other two positions. That's how to build the business. If you did that with all of these positions, then you'd earn just over 70 Ethereum, which is roughly around $16,000, which in sterling, I think, is about 14,000 pounds. Now, believe it or not, this is achievable within weeks, and there are actually people earning more than this. And I'm not even explaining the upgrading part here. If I started going into the upgrading, then those figures just become astronomical. So I'm going to show you an example of some of the incomes that are being earned from some of the people out there. Yeah, this is my son's, okay? He started I think he started on 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks tomorrow, okay? He's put 3 people in, which is his own 3 positions. And on the top position, he's earned $6,000, just over $6,000. Now, if we look at partners up here, the bottom 3 are his, and he's earned 175 on the first 2, which he hasn't put anybody in, but his second position, which is directly below him, is earned 4,269. So if you add those figures up, 350, 4,300, let's say, and 6,000, is just over 10,500 in 2 weeks. And he's got a total of 55 partners. Now, virtually all of them have come in with 4 positions. So if you divide 55 by 4, that's whatever, say 12 people. Is it 12? 12, 13 people, okay? So it's not a great deal of people, and it's just starting to pick up. The other thing is, when you first start, the amounts that you're making might be relatively small because you're upgrading, but as you move up the ladder, the figures get bigger and bigger. So my son started here at stage 4, so he paid a total of $800 for all 4 positions. But look, he's also upgraded up to stage 8 on two positions. In fact, let me show you. Partners. He's upgraded to stage 8 on this position, and then he's at 6 and 6 on the other. So he's upgraded all his positions, and he's earned in total of just over 10,500. Now remember, there are fees for upgrading, so this is what you'd be paying, but you're earning that anyway. And I think he's made a total of, I think he's got about 17, 18 Ethereum in his wallet at the moment, and he's been paid about 1,500 to 2,000 pounds cash. And this is just the beginning in 2 weeks. I want to show you another example. So mine is roughly the same, but a little bit more because I've been helping him. But I want to show you a person above me who joined, who actually introduced me. And he started at the same level, but he's been in 6 weeks. Now he's up to 18,000 on his top position. He's upgraded to stage 10, and he started at stage 4. And if you look at his partners, these are his three other positions below him, you're looking at 6,700 on one, to 1,300 on the other. So let's say those two come to at 8,000, and then 9,500 on the other. So that's roughly 18,000 plus 18,000, 37,000 in 6 weeks. So this is how fast this thing's growing. I'm going to show you one very interesting one. This is somebody who hasn't really done a great deal. So if you look here, he's only upgraded 2 of this X3 slots. And if you look at his partners, these are the people that he's introduced. There's, I think, 7 of them, but hardly any of them have done anything. I think there's only one person actually done anything. There's somebody earned $76 and somebody's earned $6. But apart from that, nobody else has done anything. But if you look at his income, it's just short of 38,000, and that's because it's all coming from here, this X4 position. This is what I mean by earning passive income. Now, he's clearly been in it a lot longer, but the company's only been going 4 months. So, well, the system's been only going 4 months. It's not a company. That's another thing. You're not paying a company. It's going direct through the system via the smart contracts. And the person who created this can't change it, because smart contracts, once they're up there, you cannot alter them, no matter what, no matter how good a programmer you are. And if you look at those figures I mentioned earlier, now we've got 341,000 people. I think I said 289,000, and 11,500 people joined in the last 24 hours, whereas the other one was 8,900, I think. And this was only a few days ago. 47 million had been paid out, and now it's 55 million. So this is how fast this thing is moving. Let me give you another example. These figures, by the way, you can put any number in, because you can see people's accounts. You can't actually do anything with them, but you can see what they're making. So it's got total transparency. There's no way of knowing who they are anyway. So again, you've got total anonymity, just like with the blockchain. Let's look at somebody else. Let me think. 113. Now, this person's got all 12 slots, all 12 stages activated, and he's earned 173,000. And again, this is, I don't know how long it's taken him. Another example would be, actually, let me go back to 2092. So this was the one where he's earned all this money from the X4 position. But if you want to know who's introduced him, it's somebody with the ID 8648. And if we log out there, 8648, and look at that, 8648, their earnings are 331,000. So, you know, some staggering incomes being generated here. There's one last thing I wanted to show you, which is the reason why I said it's a good idea to have 3 positions underneath you. If we go to mine, which is 613, I beg your pardon, 213650. I've earned 4,400 on my top position, and my partners, these are my 3 positions. One of them, which is what I'm building, I've got 2 people under there. I've earned 5,200, but the other one, look here, I've earned over $1,000, but haven't put anybody in. In other words, there's nobody joined that position, and yet people are somehow being dropped into there from elsewhere. So that's why I'm saying that if you have 3 positions, there are going to be people spilling over into the other positions automatically, and you know that's without you having to do anything. So that's as far as I've got with the presentation. I hope that answers some of your questions. If you've got any other questions, or if you want to find out more, get back to the person who showed you this video or this webinar and find out more.